The senator for Utah.
Mr. President, for the last 3 years, the world has watched with rapt attention as the United Kingdom has debated and negotiated that country's exit from the European Union after the historic Brexit vote in June of 2016. There have been multiple deals proposed since then, and now the deadline for withdrawal fast approaches this Friday. As the special ally of Britain for a very long time, a very close ally for well over 100 years, this is, and it ought properly to be, of great interest to us in the United States of America. Throughout times of change and tumult, the UK has been one of our staunchest and most loyal allies. We've stood beside each other through 2 world wars and throughout the Cold War. Now, in the 21st century, the U.S. and the U.K. have become even stronger friends and partners, both in the fight against global terrorism and for freedom, peace, and prosperity. The United Kingdom, significantly, is the 7th largest trading partner the United States has. In 2017 alone, we're talking about $232 billion in goods that were traded between our 2 countries. Now, Britain's impending exit from the European Union presents an enormous opportunity to strengthen and to preserve our special relationship. As the Brexit deadline approaches, the United States should stand ready and willing to negotiate a free trade agreement with the United Kingdom, which is the purpose of the resolution that I want to bring before this body today. Now, prior to this, we haven't been able to have true free trade with Britain precisely because the UK was a member of the EU and therefore had to play by its rules. But once the UK leaves, it will reclaim the authority to make its own trade agreements, opening up a window of opportunity for genuine bilateral free trade with our own country. And such an agreement would advance prosperity on both sides of the Atlantic as an engine of economic liberty. And this resolution, the one that I would like to bring up and plan to bring up either later today or on Monday, based on the schedule that I'm trying to negotiate with Senator Wyden, is a good deal. It's a good deal for the United States and for the United Kingdom. And I think it's such a no-brainer, in fact, that most Americans would probably be surprised to find out that we don't already have a free trade agreement with our friends on the other side of the pond. And yet, Mr. President, there are some objections to this resolution. Some of my colleagues have argued that by encouraging a free trade agreement with Britain, we would somehow be meddling in this affair, or picking sides, or that we would somehow be affirming Brexit. But, Mr. President, this resolution, the resolution that I want to offer and call up, suggesting that we call it up and pass it by unanimous consent, it itself says nothing about whether or not Brexit should or should not happen. Nothing at all. That is not a decision that belongs to this body, and it's not a decision that I'm even suggesting that this body make. It's not ours to make. It is the decision of the British people to make, the people of the United Kingdom. And they, of course, have made it. They have decided to stand on their own. We should stand with them, just as they have stood beside us in conflict after conflict, in cause after cause, defending the dignity of the immortal human soul and the cause of freedom throughout the world. Others have claimed that the point of this measure is somehow to lambaste the EU, but this too badly misses the point, which is simply to preserve a unique and important alliance and to promote America's interests in the world. Finally, some have suggested that this resolution that I want to propose and call up and pass before this body did not go through the Finance Committee. First of all, this is not a complicated resolution. It's simple. It's a straightforward 2-page resolution declaring the sense of the Senate that, number one, the United States has and should have a close, mutually beneficial trading and economic partnership with the United Kingdom without interruption. And second, that the President, with the support of Congress, should lay the groundwork for a future trade agreement between the United States and the United Kingdom. Also, the vast majority of resolutions that simply specify a general sense of the Senate do not normally go through the full-blown legislative committee process. A straightforward assertion of friendship, of support, and of economic partnership with one of our oldest and closest allies in the world should not be controversial, not in the least. America's special relationship with the United Kingdom is special because we make it so. Our two peoples, our two governments. It's not our job to decide whether or not the UK stays in the EU. It's up to the British people to decide whether to stick with the EU or not. But it's up to us to decide whether we stick with the British. And we should do that by supporting this resolution today. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.